high on the ridgeline of the Rocky Mountains where trees thin into sky. An unlikely forester is at work, not just surviving the alpine wilds, but shaping the very future of the Yellowstone ecosystem.
The Clark's Nutcracker is named after Clark from the Lewis and Clark expedition. Clark collected the first scientific specimen back in the early 1800s, and it's a corvid, member of the crow family.
The Clark's Nutcracker has a very handsome gray plumage with black and white wings and tail, and as it flies, you can distinctly see those white wing patches and the white bordering the tail.
Clark's nutcrackers are ubiquitous to high elevation habitats in the Rocky Mountains.
I hear a nutcracker right over here.
They're crummy singers, but you become accustomed to their singing as a warm welcome to higher elevation habitats. They really are part and parcel to Rocky Mountain forests.
Here, in one of North America's harshest habitats, the Clark's Nutcracker has forged an ancient alliance with a tree found on nearly every rocky peak of the West, the whitebark pine.
Whitebark pine is shrubby looking. They have a canopy that has branches that are nearly vertical, nearly pointed directly upward. And the cones are horizontal around the branch tip, and they form great landing platforms for the nutcrackers.
For the last 30,000 years, this bird and this tree have evolved side by side. The secret to their partnership lies inside the whitebark cone.
In most pines, the seeds have a little wing on them, so when the pine cone opens up and the seed falls out, it'll just blow maybe up to a couple hundred yards, maybe even further. However, the whitebark pine is different in two really important ways. First, the cones never open up. They stay closed. But then, once you break open a whitebark pine cone, there's no little wing on the seed. The seed won't disperse anywhere. So the question then becomes, how does this tree become so widespread that it's found on top of almost every single mountain in the western US and throughout much of western Canada? Well, the reason is the Clark's Nutcracker.
Back and forth across tens of thousands of years, the traits were refined in both the ancestral nutcracker and in this group of trees that share seed dispersal by Clark's Nutcracker. So the whitebark pine almost completely depends on Clark's Nutcracker for seed dispersal.
Whitebark pine and Clark's nutcracker kind of go hand in hand. What we call it is a mutualistic relationship, which means both species benefit. They evolve together. And how that happened is whitebark pine produces a big nut. It's highly nutritious, and the bird uses that nut for food.
In the late summer and fall, the Clark's Nutcracker uses its dagger-sharp bill to pry open the tough whitebark cones and free its calorie-dense seeds, sometimes up to 75 in a single cone.
Clark's Nutcrackers have what is called a sublingual pouch, which no other bird has. That is inside the neck. It has an opening under the tongue, and that's where the seeds go down. This pouch can hold more than 100 whitebark pine seeds.
And then, this is the most amazing part, is that they then fly, sometimes maybe even 20 miles, and they dig a little hole and they'll spit up 5 to 10 seeds into that hole, cover it up, and then go do that again and again.
In the late summer, a single nutcracker digs as many as 30,000 holes, called caches, across a vast landscape. By the following spring, the bird can retrieve most of the seeds from them. A staggering feat of spatial memory.
This is astonishing to me. I can't even believe it because I can't remember where I put my car keys this morning. The key is this: the Clark's nutcrackers don't find all the caches. And I think the bird and the tree have worked this out through evolutionary time, that virtually every whitebark pine you see out there is a cache from a Clark's nutcracker that they didn't find. So the tree, by providing food for the bird, leads to regeneration of an entire forest. Mutualism, coevolution, a really cool story.
The nutcrackers have an incredible spatial memory, but they start forgetting these cache locations after about 9 months. So with all those seeds in the ground, if something should happen to a bird, or it just doesn't need all those caches, there can be a lot of seeds out there for regeneration.
The remarkable story stretches far beyond a single plant and animal. Whitebark pine seeds fuel an entire food web, from red squirrels to black bears and grizzlies. These high-elevation canopied forests also provide shade that slows snowmelt and reduces soil erosion. But now nature's vital partnership may be in jeopardy.
There has been a decline in whitebark pine over the past several decades. With climate change, there's been more fires and very intense bark beetle infestations. But most importantly, warmer, drier climate introduced a fungal disease called white pine blister rust. All this has the potential of wiping out whitebark pine. So if whitebark pine disappears, that's going to have an impact on Clark's nutcracker.
What's at stake is more than the bird and the tree. It's the entire mountain ecosystem itself. In response, the Ricketts Conservation Foundation has taken up the cause, funding research and raising awareness about this precious relationship.
We are working to understand Clark's nutcracker's movement patterns in the Yellowstone ecosystem so that we can identify habitat types that are important to Clark's nutcrackers in years when the whitebark pine is not producing seed. We undertake 4 surveys every year in Yellowstone National Park and different habitat types to see where the birds are and when they're there. And we relate that then to the number of cones that are present in each habitat type. We lure the birds in late winter.
Nutcracker coming in. Got it.
Got it.
And we capture them. Then we put these satellite transmitters on them, and those transmitters then provide us locations of where the birds are moving.
There.
With a backpack transmitter on them, we can follow. Did they nest this year? If they didn't nest, where'd they go? If they did nest, where are they going to feed? Where do they go after the nesting season? We can find them any place they go. And so that's been a key advance to understanding individuals and populations of Clark's nutcrackers.
We've learned that the home ranges push beyond the northern boundary of the parks. We have learned that some of the birds will up and leave, and when they leave. And we've had birds move over to other mountain ranges in the Yellowstone area.
The Ricketts Conservation Foundation saved the study of Clark's nutcrackers in the Yellowstone ecosystem, funded the science and conservation and public outreach, and that's key.
The Clark's nutcracker may be small, but its impact is mighty. The bond between this tiny bird and rugged pine is a story of resilience and of nature's deep interconnection.
The best way to ensure the future for Clark's nutcracker and for whitebark pine is to do restoration and build up these forests again. So there is planting that's been going on. It's going to take more than a human lifetime, but it would be a huge, unbelievable loss to this world if we lost the whitebark pine and we lost the Clark's nutcracker, given this evolutionary story.
Clark's nutcrackers and whitebark pine hold together, arguably, a big part of the Rocky Mountain ecology. If whitebark pine or Clark's nutcrackers go, one whole habitat in the mountains that stretch from Mexico through Alaska is gone. And so there's a lot at stake here for us. It's not just we need to respect Clark's nutcrackers and let them live, but we benefit from having a more diverse, healthy, vibrant ecosystem.
Clark's nutcrackers are really cool birds, and it's seldom that you get to see a species that has such a large impact on the landscape. They are the reasons that these whitebark pines are growing everywhere. And it just makes you realize how many wonderful interconnections and relationships are out there around us.